Okay, so I'm continuing to think about precious human life, and I wanted to share more concretely why. So I would say I was in kind of a funk yesterday, and then when you go to bed that way, I usually wake up that way. Although what I tend to do is do purification practice, and I know that will help turn things around. And so I don't feel like things have to remain. But we have this, and I've said this, and you oftentimes hear people say that practicing the Dharma is so hard. People say that. But actually, practicing the Dharma is easy. It's getting to practicing the Dharma that's hard. So you can spend the whole day trying to get yourself there and not get there. But once you actually get there, it's very easy. So my practice this morning is the complete illustration of that. It took me a long time to get there. And why is that? Because I think it's because we don't have enough, for myself, I don't have enough familiarity with my own mind to have the correct antidote for what is transpiring inside of me. And I'm, like all of us, we're complex beings. So what works one day doesn't work the next day, and that's just the way it is. And so you can either get discouraged about that or you can learn. And I always choose just to learn. And when I can get my mind to more of the mode of experimentation and observing, that really is, gives you the space to be able to do that. So last time I spoke, I talked about the precious human life being precious and rare, and the part that's precious is what we can do with this life. So most of the time when we think about this life, we think about, well, many of us, we've talked recently about being important. That kind of drives a lot of our thoughts, or being special, or any of these things. And those always are kind of miserable places to be in. But when you think about what we can do with this life, it's so positive. And this morning I kind of tried to go there, but what really came to me was the causes of this life. And I have been instructed in this some years ago by one of my teachers, who says, take hold of this precious human life, and if you really take hold of it, you actually cannot be depressed. It's impossible. So that means when you're depressed, you're not taking hold of it. That I know pretty well. It's the getting your mind there. So for me this morning, what was so helpful, because I have a very active mind, was I just actively put it on the causes of a precious human life. Okay, so you want to feel special, or you want to feel this, or you want to feel that. Well, one way to do that in a realistic way is, instead of this kind of wanting attachment to whatever, reputation, praise, whatever it is actually to turn your mind to appreciation. This is what works for me quite to my benefit. So just appreciating what it takes to have a precious human life, thinking of all the virtue that you had to create. You had to do the 10 virtuous actions. You had to abandon the 10 unvirtuous actions, the 10 non-virtues, which in that and alone is pretty amazing to think about. I mean, if you really put your mind there, like, wow, I did this. I want to feel special. Well, I feel special about attachment and about all these things that just always make you miserable. Why not instead have appreciation for actually what we've done to have what we have right now? Because we have the potential to turn our mind at every moment. But it can be difficult to get to that moment. Not because the Dharma is difficult, but because our minds are just under the influence of afflictions and our previous karma. That's the difficulty.